Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron Cavley, and we will continue with the further adventures of Russell Raven Miranda, potential gunslinger. In the morning, after he passed out, his face is still bloody, his face is pounding, and his parents are kind of speaking in hushed tones around him, trying to keep things calm so he can to help him recover. But finally, as he finishes up the breakfast that his mother has fixed for him, he eats the last bit of bacon and sops up the remaining grease on the plate with the last bite of his hardtack, and gingerly chews it in his mouth, which is now swollen and blue. Um, and he knows what's coming next because they've come in together as a team, as his parents always do when they're getting ready to kind of lay it on him, as parents are wont to do. And his father sits down next to his bed and says, "What happened, Russ? You got to tell me what happened." Russell, he thinks about it. He's kind of been chewing on his thoughts as well as his food since he was groggily woken up this morning by his mother serving him, and he looks at his dad and says, "It was Mr. Levi. He sent some men after me after I talked to Side to Shane. They jumped me on the way back. I wasn't paying attention, so I probably got what I deserved." "Why, that dirty snake, I'll go." His dad stands up, and Russell said, "No, no, oh, you gotta stop. You gotta let me take care of it." "Son." "No, Dad, you've got to let me take care of it. I'm the one who's up to be a gunslinger. How exactly is that going to look if my father goes and fights for me? I got my ass whooped, and he'll pay for that. But you've got to let me take care of it on my time. I'd never be able to face any of the gunslingers if my pa went down and took care of this problem for me." His father looks at him and after a moment nods and sits back down. "Are you sure it was him, son?" "Yeah, he told me. The guy leading the thugs told me that Mr. Levi did not like how I had spoken to him." Russell decides that he's not going to tell his dad about the knife. He's basically going to lie to his dad. He'll leave it out so he can take care of that too. In part because he wants to take care of it, but in part because the shame of getting beat up is bad enough. If he were to tell his dad that he had lost this treasure from a gunslinger, then he's not sure what his dad would do. Aside from berate him and be angry again. But what did Side to Shane say? "Not much, Dad. He told me that he was there to encourage me and that we were looking for gunslingers and why they were looking for gunslingers, and that was very important to Gilead. And I think he's right. So you're going to take the test? Try to leave through the east gate? Face the instructor?" "I think I'm going to try, Dad. Well, after I heal up. I don't think I want to face the instructor with the bruised ribs and smashed up face." "Well, I think you're doing right, son." His father beams proudly You're doing right, boy. All right. I'll leave Levi to you. You may just want to let it go. He may not be someone you want to tangle with at all. But he lives over in the red district, down on the lower by the lower wharf. You'll recognize his place. It's right next to the the grungy pearl. All right. Well, thanks, Dad. I'm not sure what I'll do with it about it at all. So he tries to smile as best as he can as his parents look reassured about the future, about what's going on, and they leave him to rest. Of course, Russell has lied to his parents again because he knows exactly what he is going to do, and he's not going to let it go. But first, he does need to rest. So he's going to spend a couple days recuperating. Uh, his mother and father are, decent at giving kind of home remedies and stuff, and he was not severely hurt. So after 2 or 3 days, I'm just going to give him his resolve back. After the third day, he gets up after breakfast. His father has already left for work, even though he's sort of a wounded veteran. In Gilead in these days, there's not really like a retirement plan, so he occasionally has to go out and do work, what he can find around the city. His mom cooks him up some oat cakes, and she looks down and says, what do you plan on doing today? I'm gonna go see a man about a horse, Mom. Oh, you boys, don't you get in any trouble, Russell Miranda. You want to be in tip-top shape when you take your test. Don't worry, Mom. Doing. So Russell takes his oat cake, kisses his mom on the cheek, and he takes a hammer, just like a regular tool type hammer, from the junk drawer. As he walks out, his mom gives him a curious look, and he just winks at her and heads on out. He makes his way down to the dock area his dad described, this grungy pearl, and he hangs around and he just watches for a little bit. He is going to get that knife back, and he's thinking that Levi probably has the knife, has demanded it from the thugs. He's not sure of their relationship, but he's going to make that assumption. So he's going to sit and plan. He's going to figure out how to get inside and the best way to deal with it. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, and I'm just going to see what kind of challenge the solo deck has for us. His goal is to get inside, get the knife back, not necessarily confront Levi, but he certainly wouldn't mind putting a hammer on top of his skull if he gets the opportunity. So we'll see what the challenge is. An ace, a lot of face cards all the time. Let's see. Okay, so that's a die 6 roll. Let's give us a die 6 roll. 2. Negative. Okay, so it's a scene change, so negative. All right, let's see what the scene change is. I'm going to whip out my handy color thing here to roll on my complex question here, see what it involves. A rejection. All right, so it's going to give me a rejection of some sort. I'm supposed to draw another scene. All right, well, let's roll with it. So it's a negative rejection. And then the next thing I have is another ace. That's going to give us a 4. All right, so it's a new location. So it's a negative rejection and somehow is going to bring him to a new location. And that's going to be an urban location. So he's going from this area on the docks to 12. Airport, wharf, port. Okay. All right. So as he's sitting staking the place out, um, he's spotted. He doesn't know that he's spotted. Um, and as he's sitting watching, because he knows he's going to have to wait for a while. And then the negative aspect is that he is spotted, and he's basically going to be lured into an ambush, into another ambush. Thank you, Tricube solo deck cards. 20. So he's sitting watching for a while. He knows he doesn't want to rush things. He's trying to be cool and collected. He just didn't realize that the big guy, still with bruises all over his face, was going to stand out so well. So after a while, he watches a couple people come and go, and he recognizes one of the people that jumped him. They go inside of this place that is that his father has told him is Levi's, and then he comes back out and he disappears into the crowd. Russell watches for a little while longer, and Levi, he walks out and he heads down this kind of abandoned looking alleyway, this rundown wharf area. Now, Russell is thinking, "Hey, this is my chance. He's by himself." And so he looks around, doesn't see anybody, and follows. So as he's following, he's trying to be quiet. Not his specialty, but he does okay. He is a young apprentice, almost gunslinger after all. So he follows Levi down this alleyway, and he turns a corner, and Levi is not there, and it looks like a dead end. And then his senses, his alarm bells are going off. He knows now that he's been trapped, and as he turns to get away from this alley, he sees that those same people who ambushed him, what the guard described as Boxer's gang, assuming the guard was right, are 3 or 4 of them are there at the alleyway, and so is Levi. Levi is behind them, smirking. He obviously knew some kind of cutback through the building. When Russell looks the other way, it's a dead end. He doesn't see a way. And so Levi smirks at him and says, "You're just not too bright, boy. You're just not bright at all. I think Gilead would be right doomed if you were to ever put on some gun belts, being as dumb as you are." So let's see if our deck will give us an actual scene challenge this time. See what Russell needs to do. I'm gonna say this is gonna be either an average or it's going to be a fight of some kind, or Russell's going to have to escape. So we'll see what the cards tell us. Okay, I'm just ignoring that. Okay. A hard agility challenge. Okay. All right. Russell is not willing to try to fight these guys. So in order he's going to try to escape. He knows that he knows there's some way out down at the far end of the alley because he followed Levi. And he just really doesn't want to get beat up again, and he may not even survive this time. He knows Levi has that smirk. He has that dangerous glint in his eye. Uh, before maybe the thugs were not told to necessarily kill him, and that's why they just worked him over and let him be. Russell needs to go. So, he takes off down the alley. He pulls the hammer out that he'd had tucked in his belt just in case maybe he needs to knock in some windows or maybe help them knock a door down or something. It's not like a heavy hammer or anything. I mean, you could kill someone with it, but it's not going to be knocking down big doors. All right. This is a difficult challenge. Because right now, his challenge is he's trying to escape. Okay. All right, so he runs and he gets there. He sees that there's some boarded up windows and something, but he can't find a way out. The wall is too steep to climb over. He can't see any way to get out. He has no idea how Levi escaped. And as he's trying to escape and crawl, he just can't do it. And the men are after him. They're closing in on him. And I'm going to, as he looks in despair, he looks on in despair as the men close in on him again. But he knows there's no way out. So he takes his hammer and he yells, "For God!" And he runs swinging his hammer and his fist, just trying to do what he can. Now this is going to be it's probably going to start off as a hard challenge because he is outnumbered. But it's an alleyway, so there's only so many that can get to him at a time. I think I'll start off with just average because he's fighting only one or two at a time. So average fight, difficulty 5. Okay. Let's see. So he does get. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is difficulty 5. I'm going to have him spend a karma point to reduce that difficulty to 4. So he's now got like all successes. He's got an exceptional success. He reaches into that rage and he brings his hammer down on the first thug. He thinks his name was Clay. He was the smart-ass one that was talking to him last time. And all the rage and the humiliation comes through, and he brings his hammer down right in the middle of that guy's forehead, and he just looks, and his eyes roll up in his head, and he falls down to the ground dead. And the next guy next to him cusses, but Russell grabs him by the neck and just slams his head into the brick wall and throws him on the ground, blood running from his smashed face. Two of the Levi and the two thugs come skidding to a stop as they watch Russell just tear through the first two guys. And Russell is not done. He reaches out with his big and because he has those hammer fists. That's why he was able to use that karma to reduce the difficulty level. He reaches out with that hammer fist and he just smashes a third guy's jaw. It just snaps. He is raging, and he is screaming. He is screaming litanies that he's heard from his apprenticeship training. And the third one falls, and Levi shrieks and runs, and so does the last bandit. But Russell is not having any of it. The battle rage, the battle mist has fallen on him, and so he's chasing them down. They're taking off. They're terrified, and he's enraged. So I'm going to say that's to catch up with them, at least quickly. I'm going to say that is a average agility. Okay. The one thug, he doesn't even get turned around. His boot slipped on the muck in the alleyway, and Russell brings his hammer down as the last thug that was there protecting Levi. When he slips, he falls down on his hands and knees, and he's trying to get up. Russell brings his hammer down and just smashes that thug's skull, and he falls down, ass in the air, face in the muck. Russell doesn't even care if he's dead or not, and he manages to grab right as Levi's getting ready to get out, to jump out of the alleyway, kind of back into public view. Russell grabs the collar of his coat. It's kind of a nice coat, a little threadbare, but certainly nicer than anything that Russell has left. He grabs the collar, jerks him back, and slams his face into the wall. And he's looking down at Levi. Levi looks up at him. He's on his ass. His legs are splayed out, and he's up against the wall, looking at this mountain of anger getting ready to smash him to death. And he's like, "Wait, please don't. Wait. I can pay you. And he's begging for his life. And I'm going to invoke Levi's anger. Levi knows that he should not, that he really wants some information. He wants to know where the knife is. He wants to make sure that Levi just leaves him alone. And whether he's a scumbag or not, Levi is a man of some importance because he has obviously connections with the court of Gilead. I'm going to make it a one die, or it's going to be one die because he's going to subtract a die to invoke the quirk. Make it a difficulty of 5, I think, because he knows he doesn't want to kill Levi just outright, but boys, the battle rage, everything is red in his eyes. Yeah. Okay. He gets his karma back. I'm trying to get my karma back. Where's my karma? Yeah, okay. Little slowness there. So Levi, he manages to at least not crush his skull with the hammer. Instead, he punches him with his meaty fist, his just huge fist, and just smashes him right in the nose. And blood pours out. You can feel one of his teeth give way underneath the punch, and Levi just crumples over sideways. And he's ready to kill the man, but he hears someone at the end of the alleyway a couple of young women. One goes and gasps, and it catches his attention, and he's, get out of here. And the women go scurrying away, but it's enough to keep him from outright murdering this helpless man. He's not necessarily against that, but he knows there's a difference between murdering Levi and street thugs. So he pats Levi down, and he finds his wallet, and he finds some money in it, and he takes it. But more importantly, he finds his dagger. He finds that Bowie that Jay DeShane had given him, and he pulls it, he takes it, and he strokes it, and he feels very satisfied because he has taken care of something like a gunslinger would take care of. He did it by himself, and as he's taking his calming breaths, as he's remembered the face of his father, he decides to go ahead and take Levi's nice jacket too, because the gang destroyed his own. He takes the jacket, puts it on, and of course it doesn't fit because Levi's small, but he thinks it might fit maybe his father, so he takes it anyway. Thinks better of it, and then just throws it on his face. He doesn't want Levi's filth. He doesn't want this criminal's goods. He just wants his knife back, and everyone needs some money. So Russell takes one last look down at the ground, down at the bodies strewn down this wharf alleyway, and he nods. He's ready. He's ready to take the test. And he will fight for Gilead. He will fight for the white. He walks back, this time paying attention as he's walking home. He walks back feeling good again about himself, feeling that he's learned a lesson about not getting too cocky. He comes home. By the time he gets home, his father's back and his mom's back. Or, well, his mom was there. Anyway, his mom is cooking up lunch. And they look at him. He walks in and he smiles. And he looks at his dad and says, I don't think Levi will be bothering us anymore. I'm going to rest. Get ready to take that test, Pa. I won't forget your face. I'll pass that test. I'll get my guns. And I'll fight for Gilead. And we'll call it right there because that's like pretty close to 30 minutes. It'll probably be a little shorter after I edit out some of my but anyway, that turned out a little better for Russell the Raven Miranda. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm having fun making these using the Tricube Tales and Tricube Tales solo decks. Still getting an awful lot of face cards though. Maybe I should start playing poker. Anyway, thanks for coming by. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy gaming.